you're young enough to be stupid. So you do a mix of both. You kind of mini adults and you're stupid still. So it's like a perfect balance out there, especially.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast The Campus Stories Reliving Memories. On this podcast, we offer up straight talk on life at campus, career journey, memories, and some funny incidents through stories and conversation with some of the most brilliant and talented alumni of our own Symbiosis Infotech campus. I'm your host and host. It's time to roll up the red carpet for our first guest, Miss Kanika Bhalla from the batch of 2005 from Symbiosis Institute of International Business. She is CEO and founder of DARS and the Good Business Company. A traveler and foodie at heart, she had spent over 15 years in full-time roles across retail, FMCG and technology sectors, including the last 1.5 years as a founder of DARS, a unique supply chain venture. Having been to 57 countries across 6 continents so far, most of them as a solo backpacker, she takes in pride the fact that she can travel even 3 months at stretch with just 7 kg backpack that includes a laptop and Kindle. She reads around 50 plus books in a year. It's my pleasure to welcome you, ma'am, to the show. I know we have lots to talk about. First, let's start something that personally I want to know. How did your love for traveling started, or when did you first realize or discover this love for traveling?
Thank you for having me, Ghost. It's actually good to be here. The campus has been a lot of fun for me, a lot of learning, of course, if the teachers are watching this. But mostly a lot of fun. The love for travel, honestly, to answer your question, is it started back in 2009, if I remember correctly, when I'd gone on my first trip with a few friends. But I did not really know till that time what does it feel like to travel in a public transport by myself, like take a metro. There was no metro at the time that I could take and just kind of go anywhere, and just not really travel in a group tour is what I experienced for the first time. And that kind of got me hooked, and I was like, if this is the way people travel, I would love to just have a backpack on my shoulder and just kind of take off whenever I want, wherever I want to go. This was in Singapore. After that, I kind of started doing a lot of solo trips. I started just kind of booking tickets to random places and taking off whenever I felt like it. And as expected, I kind of fell in love with it. Have been doing it since then now.
Ma'am, I want to know more about this 7 kg. As your username is also 7 kg backpack, so can you please tell us more about it?
Easier. Trust me, it's very easy if you don't have too much of luggage. And you realize it only after you've actually traveled with a very small backpack. So my backpack is a 30-liter backpack. It's like literally it feels like if you look at it, it could be like any regular school pack also. And what it does is it just makes life a lot easier because ultimately whatever you need for an entire week, you can easily fit in a 7 kg backpack, including your laptop, your Kindle, all your devices and all your clothes. It's not that hard, honestly. I think I stumbled upon minimalism as a lifestyle in 2017, and I had already been traveling with a small backpack for a very long time. After that, I kind of started restricting to 7 kg completely. Other thing it also does is it kind of saves you money. You don't really have to pay for luggage in most of these low cost airlines when you travel across the world. You can just kind of take off with a hand baggage. And a lot of people, even when I'm traveling like across the world to, let's say, Brazil, and I just have that tiny backpack with me, people just kind of look at me and find it weird that where is the rest of your luggage? And I just kind of, this is my luggage. So it's kind of funny.
That's great, ma'am. Tell us about your campus life. How was it back then in 2005?
Campus was actually a lot of fun. Campus was, I think most people will agree, it's probably the best part of your lives. You're old enough to understand a lot of things that are going on and actually make friendships that will last you a lifetime. And you're young enough to be stupid. So you do a mix of both. You kind of mini adults and you're stupid still. So it's like a perfect balance out there, especially in that age when you're doing your master's. So that's what I did also. Life in campus was a lot of fun. Roommates usually become your best friends. That's standard. At that time, we had 3 to a room. I'm assuming it's still the same for you all also.
Right.
So I had 2 of my roommates, Palka and Soumya. And I also had a lot of pseudo roomies because I often used to be in other people's rooms more often than mine. So there's other 3 people who were also my pseudo roomies because I was always in their room. So it was a lot of fun. And other than that, once you are out of the hostel and you're like in the academic block or something, then the whole class is your friend and you're just generally having fun. The most common place we used to be found was there was this kind of a wall right outside the cafeteria. I don't know if it's the same one for you all as well right now. And we used to just keep sitting there forever. I mean, we have sat on that wall for probably 12 hours also in one go. Would not even get up. Probably we would get up to just probably buy a Coke or something and probably order Maggie. If at all we had to go inside, sometimes we would just kind of do this like इशारे से बता दिया कि ये दे दो and Maggie भी बाहर आ जाएगी. I used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew भी बाहर आ जाएगा and we're still sitting on that wall and not moving at all. We have that wall became like our adda. We were like,
So, ma'am, any funny incidents or stories you want?
a lot of them actually. If I start thinking about them, this podcast is probably going to go on for a few hours. But let me recall a few early ones. So the cafeteria that you have right now, we also had the same one. And there used to be like this. There's this pool kind of a thing under it, right? It used to be filled with water at the time. I think it's probably not filled with water anymore. And that's probably our doing because back in 2003-4, what we used to do was whenever we used to have anybody's birthdays, we used to just pick up that person and throw that person in that pool. And this was like right under the cafeteria, and no matter who you are, no matter whose birthday it is, you're supposed to be thrown in the pool, and that was like a thing. And every single person in campus has probably gone into that pool at least once, probably more. If you were there for 2 birthdays in the 2 years that you were there, most likely you've gone in the pool twice. And sometimes you are even gone into the pool because you were dragging somebody really hard and you threw them in the pool, and with them you also went in the pool. So that is something which is very, very common there. The other thing which was fun in campus was the curfew. Did you also have, or do you also have the 10 p.m. curfew now to get back into the campus?
Yes, ma'am. It's really frustrating.
Tell me about it. So we've done a lot of things to kind of beat that curfew somehow. So we used to have our warden called Trisha ma'am. I don't know if she's still there or not, but this of course is a very long time back.
Yeah.
So what used to happen is she was very strict and she used to make sure that everybody is in before 10 p.m. and everything, and we used to have like a security guard or something right outside the hostel. And the other thing was that we even couldn't get back inside the campus after 10 p.m. So even if you're like outside somewhere in the city and you had to come back to the campus after 10 p.m., you couldn't. So 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. was like a big curfew. You can't enter, you can't go out. And if you had to come in, you had to give your I-card. So, and the I-card next morning invariably go to the dean, and you just had to have to face the music after that. But what we used to do, we were like really smart. So we used to take the I-card of some other student, preferably from another batch, and keep it with us. And then they would report it stolen or whatever has happened, and they would get a new one, but we would keep it handy. So whenever we would be out and we have to come back like really late, sometimes we used to party, we used to be like somewhere, and we used to come back at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night. Now what do? You can't give your own badge, of course, because then you'll be called to the principal's office, the dean's office next month. You would just give that stolen badge. This is us. And in the night, nobody would used to know the difference whether it's your or not. They wouldn't really look at the picture and the name and everything. They would just keep the badge and let us go in. And next morning, that person used to be called to the dean's office and not us. So I don't know how many times we've actually sent a lot of other people to dean's office and not ourselves.
Lots of time we are caught in this type of situation, but now we will not, as we know the trick.
You know don't tell me how to do. Don't tell the people that I did it. Maybe you can kind of just mask me or something so people don't know who am I.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaking all these secrets from 15 years back. Lot of other stories also actually.
Man, these tricks will come handy to our new batchmates. They will get to know how to survive in the campus.
I'm sure. So one of the funny things that I remembered is Do you still have the three colleges on 6 floors? I mean, like you have the SCIT on the bottom two, and then SEMHRD and SIID.
No, I
Okay, got it. No wonder. So when we'd gone for the 10-year story, we'd gone to another campus for IB. So at that time, what used to happen was the bottom 2 floors were SCIT, the middle two were SEMHRD, and the top two were SIIB. So that's how the building was decided. The 6 floors were divided. So what used to happen is in the days of placements, the funniest story, in fact, this is from our seniors batch, not from ours, but from there the whole story changed. I'll tell you what happened. So whenever a company used to come, especially some company which was like a really good company, and everybody wanted to bring that company to their institute. So one time there was a company that came for SIIB, and as we were bringing those people up to the 5th floor where the placement was going on, somebody from the HRD floor stopped the lift and took them to their institute instead. And they did not let them
seriously.
come to IB. Yes. They did not let them come to the IB floor at all. And the people who were escorting them, actually, I don't think there was anybody escorting them also. They were just coming up. Somebody told them that you have to come to the 5th floor, and they were just coming up, and somebody stopped them on the way and then got them out on the 5th floor.
Oh.
And from then on, the lifts actually separated. So we actually had separate lifts for HRD and IB. So there was some lift that used to go only to HRD, and there was another lift that used to go to only IB. There was no common lift. And we started escorting people who used to come for placements, because otherwise people can steal each other's companies. It was that kind of a competition we used to have at the time.
So, ma'am, they actually hired from the HRD or they came to IB after that?
I think they actually hired from HRD
Okay.
because they did not realize they've gone to the wrong college.
Okay.
It was actually quite funny, that story.
Yeah.
Do you still have the difference in the lifts now, or because it's only 2 colleges now, you don't?
No, ma'am. As of now, we don't have such type of separation.
You don't have such stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Awesome.
And
Ma'am, please tell us what are the activities you were involved in the college?
Me, I think I was just generally having fun in college. I never used to study. I always used to be like the backbencher. But when there used to be exams or any tests or any presentations or anything that used to happen, I always used to be one of the top scorers. And my batchmates used to kind of find it really funny that how do I do this? I'm like, the night before a very important exam, I'll be out watching movie with some friends. And then next morning I'll come and I'll score really well. So people used to find it really frustrating. I actually remember a very funny story from the French exam. I had taken French in college at the time, and we had 4 languages. So everybody in IB was kind of divided into these 4 languages. So you had to choose one of these 4. In the French exam, I used to absolutely love languages, and I used to really, really pay attention in class and actually try and understand how to speak French. And exams were fairly easy, at least for me, because I knew how to kind of crack it. So what used to happen is in the exams, when I would be sitting at a certain place, there was no mandate that you have to sit roll number wise or something. You could literally sit anywhere as long as there's only one person on a single bench. So there used to be some kind of a deal between people that who will sit in front of me, behind me, on left of me and right of me. Because what I used to do was I used to finish my own French paper in like probably 5 minutes. It used to be like an hour-long paper usually. I used to finish it in 5 minutes. It was very simple usually. And one-word answers or a quick translation of one sentence or something. After I finished this, I would just take that paper and pass it back to the person behind me and take that person's paper and write the same answers again. And then I would take that paper and pass it to the front person and then take his or her paper and then write the answer again. So I would do this 3-4 times. I would take papers here and there, and I would write papers and by taking it here and there. And basically, in any single exam, there were at least 4 or 5 answer sheets with the same handwriting as me, and the same answers. Mostly, I used to deliberately make like 1 or 2 mistakes so the teacher doesn't think that we kind of cheated or something. So I used to do that. And after that, I used to go out of the exam hall and I used to SMS the answers of the French paper to the rest of the class. So there were quite a few who had signed up. You had to actually sign up who wants the SMS. So I literally had a list that okay, these 10 people, 15 people, 20 people need the SMS at the end of it. So the last half an hour of the exam, I would go out and I would actually type out the thing on SMS. We didn't have WhatsApp back then, so I used to type it on the SMS and send it to everybody. At that time, mobile phones were relatively new, so nobody used to kind of tell anybody to not have mobile phones in class or in exams or something. Everybody had phones, and everybody had phones, under their desk and kind of looking at it and trying to copy answers and just kind of do it. So it was quite crazy. One time, by the way, we got a little stupid because I didn't realize that the professor had two sets of questionnaires, a question paper. And the questions were the same, but the numbers were jumbled. So question 1 was question 2 in mine and question 3 in another person's. I didn't see that. I had the same question paper. I only used to exchange answer sheets and I only used to type answer 1, answer 2, answer 3. So some people jumped up and they kind of wrote question 1 ka answer in answer 2 and something like that. So they all got some 0 or something. They all failed because of the trick failing like really badly.
So what happened after that? Did everybody failed or what was the result?
I failed, I think, that class. But thankfully, that was some kind of an interim exam or something. It was not like a final or something.
Okay.
So it was not too bad.
Actually, continuing with this story only, I wanted to ask, this is out of curiosity only, that you guys were not having that much access to internet. Or like today we have the concept of paraphrasing. I think it was not that much common at that time. So how did you guys manage to do your assignment without copying from others or without taking help from internet?
Internet was there. It's not like the internet was not there. Gmail was fairly new. In fact, Gmail had just launched when we were in campus. But everything else, like we all had some Rediff mail and Yahoo mail kind of email IDs at the time. And we still could Google stuff. Google existed. And we still used to go to the library and reference everything like the old school way, go to the library, look for a book. Some teacher will tell you something that, okay, look at this book. Some professor will say, okay, this one has this material is in this one. So we used to do all that thing. And we used to do that. So it's not like there was no internet. There was internet. But we were kind of just getting used to finding material on internet and copy pasting, and plagiarism was not that common. So it was not that easy for teachers to find that you have simply copy pasted from internet and just taken a printout and given it to me. It was not that easy to do that at the time. So that was also possible. We've actually copied answers from the internet as it is verbatim. Same thing, actually download, copy paste, put in the assignment and give it. So we've done that also.
Ma'am, nowadays this is not possible. So ma'am, I wanted to ask, there were some hobbies you used to follow in the college. So do you still get time to follow or pursue these hobbies?
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, I think I do. I used to read a lot back then also. Reading was definitely a hobby, and I used to hike a lot. So especially Pune is such a place where you can literally go out for hikes wherever you want. There's literally like a tiny hill, pahad everywhere you go. So you can just kind of go out and start climbing something. So we used to do that back then also, and I think I still do that quite a lot. But time is honestly not really an issue, honestly, Ghost. What happens is that as you get older, you kind of tend to think that you don't really have time, but it's all about priorities. If you try and make time for things, especially your hobbies, your friends, whatever you really want to do in life, you can. It's not that hard. I mean, there are a lot of people who say that after you start working, life gets really busy and you really don't have time for anything. But I don't think that's really true. I think it's a very individual trait. If you really want to make time for stuff, you can make time for that. For example, now also I read a lot. Like you already know, I travel a lot. I do what I want to do. So it's not that hard.
Now talking about the life outside the campus, how was it back then? Like what were the food joints you used to visit during your college days?
Quite a few actually. Do you still have Fiddler's Green behind the campus, or that's shut down?
No man, we don't have that one. It's, I think totally changed as of now.
So-
McDonald's we have new.
I'm sorry. McDonald's, you couldn't even dream of McDonald's. McDonald's was like you have to go all the way to JM Road, I think. There was no McDonald's other than JM Road, if I remember correctly. So there was a Pizza Hut on JM Road, and yeah, near the campus we used to go to this place called Fiddler's Green. It was basically a a shady bar, pub, whatever you want to call it. And it used to be one place where all the parties used to happen, because that's the only place in and around campus where you used to get alcohol. So we couldn't get alcohol on the campus, at least officially. So what we used to do is everybody, the entire campus used to go to Fiddler's Green as often as we could. किसी का birthday है अगर तो मतलब फिर तो भूल जाओ. And the whole campus is there in the birthday party, whether you know the person or not, doesn't matter. So you're there in the birthday party because that person is paying for it. And we used to have a lot of fun there. There was another place on the other side called Cakes and Bakes. That used to be our hangout. It was like literally a 4-table strong thing. I don't know if it still exists or not. And that's all. It had 4 tables. An entire SIC campus used to be there all the time. And obviously the tables used to get filled in like probably a few minutes of it opening. And then everybody used to be sitting outside on the road. They're like, everybody found places to sit somewhere or the other, or stand here and there, or just take whatever they wanted to take and just kind of go out eating and all that. And of course, the tapris outside the college, the Maggie outside the college wala tapri is like amazing. We've had like n number of that. There used to be one chai wala again right outside. So we used to have so much chai from there. And from there, we used to walk all the way to HDFC ATM. Do you still have the HDFC ATM on the like about a kilometer from the campus?
Not HDFC. I think, ma'am, everything is changed. Everything. Yeah.
That's also changed now. So we used to go. That was about a kilometer and a half, and we used to just walk. And there was nothing until there. So I know last I was in Hinjewadi was probably 5 years back, but until then also everything had completely changed. There's so much there outside, and there's so many like big hotels and all also. I think I stayed in Lemon Tree. Is that what you have very close to the
Yes, ma'am.
campus?
We have that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I stayed 10 years back, or 5 years back. But back then it was like absolutely barren roads, nothing there. And what we used to do is, in fact, even if we had to go to the city when there was no shuttle, we used to have a shuttle back then, and nobody's bike is available, nobody's car is available. So we used to take lift from trucks. So this one particular time, I and a few friends stopped a truck on the highway again and said, "Ki city jana hai." And he said, "Okay, hop in." And we hopped in the back. It was like one of those half trucks, right, which are like open from the back, like a tray thing. It was one of those. We hopped onto the back only to realize it's full of dust. मिट्टी है उसके अंदर पूरी, मतलब ऊपर तक मिट्टी भरी हुई है, तो नीचे से दिख नहीं रही थी. और हम उसके अंदर जाके बैठ. वो ट्रक जब चलता है और मिट्टी पूरी उड़ती है from the campus to the city, by the time we reached, we were all white because मिट्टी पूरी हमारे ऊपर आ रही थी. And I think we were going out to party or something. There used to be this place called ABC Farms in Koregaon Park. It's still there? Okay. So we used to go to this ABC Farms in Koregaon. It's like, it used to be a nice place. I mean, only those of us who had like some good money in our bank accounts used to be able to go there. Otherwise, the rest of us who couldn't afford anything, we wouldn't be able to go there. So for us, most of us, it was like once or twice a year kind of a thing. We couldn't afford it more than that. So we all dressed up and everything, and we were going to ABC Farms in that mitti wala truck. And we reached there, and they eventually refused to let us in because we would probably spoil their sofas or something, and we couldn't really get inside because we were like that badly dressed at the time.
Wow, ma'am, you really enjoyed your college days. I had fun talking with you. Ma'am, so we have come to end of our chat. Before we wrap up, any last minute advice or guide you wanna leave for our listeners? Something you wanna share?
Okay, that's a slightly difficult one, but I think what I would like to say is that have fun. Have as much fun as you possibly can. At the end of it, placements will happen, and wherever you will get placed, you may or may not really continue in that direction in the future also. Most of the people, actually not most, but quite a few of them are not really where they started off, not even in the same industry. Some people started off in banking, are in IT, some people started off in consulting, are in retail, or vice versa, and all of that. It's like, it changes very often. So don't take anything too seriously. I think have fun, study. I'm not saying don't study at all. Study, get good grades. It matters at least initially. And then let life take over. It's okay. I think it all falls into place eventually. One good thing is make a lot of friends and make a lot of memories, because whenever you'll meet, even after 15 years like we meet now, you'll probably be laughing at the silliest of things that you've done in college, and that's what you remember for the rest of your life, probably, rather than just the grades.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
No problem.